So in this video, guys, I'm going to show you one thing of how you instantly make something as simple or cheap as your kit lens look a lot better. And before I tell you guys, let me know in the comments. Can you guess what it is? So let's say you just bought any camera. For example, me, I'll be using my Nikon Z50 with this 16 to 50 kit lens, varying aperture from 3.5 to a horrendous 6.3. But one of the things of, let's say you shoot on a really bright and sunny day and you have to shoot at f16 and everything looks really in focus. And if you checked out that other video of how I put my Nikon Z50 on my stabilizer, something didn't quite look as cinematic as I would personally like it to look. But there is one major solution. Can you guess what that is? I'm going to show you. So as you guys can see, this is a 46mm, which is the same for my Nikon Z50 kit lens. You see it is variable ND2-32, and here are the different stops of light adjustments. Right? So all you need to do is, this is the thread that goes onto your camera, right? And what you do is you just turn the thread in the beginning to change how much stops of light you want in or out. As you can see, this is with it wide open, maximum. And yes, that is a ND filter, also known as a neutral density filter, aka in layperson's term, sunglasses for your camera. Because when you're shooting in bright daylight, if you're slowly relying on the sun and you don't have any sort of, lighting, if there isn't shade, you are essentially having to rely on the weather to have perfect lighting conditions. But if you have something like an ND filter, what that allows you to do is you can shoot at a much lower aperture and still get that depth of field. Meaning right now, right, I can still get this little bit of depth of field even though it is a 3.5 aperture, and you can get that same effect if you were outside with the ND filter. In comparison to if I was shooting at f22, everything would look in focus, It's not the horrible look, but any sort of bokeh depth of field is much appreciated for all my video viewers. Which is why picking up something like a basic ND filter, this can range anywhere from $50, like the one I just purchased, to $60 to $70 to even $300 if you're looking for the Pro ND filters. As well as, if you want to go into exactly specifics, there are variable ND filters where all you do is do a little twist, and that will change how many stops of light. So going on the stops of light, essentially what happens is when you're on your camera, you can shoot at 3.5, and then the sunglasses acts as different types of light. So if you just have one static ND filter and you can't really change it, meaning that it's not varying, you can have 5 stops of light, 8 stops of light, or you can have one that I bought, which is the Kenton Faith, aka the K&F ND filter for my kit lens, which is a 46mm thread. So if you ever want to pick up an ND filter, what you want to look at is you pick up your lens, right? And you're like, what kind of thread does my kit lens have? You look on your lens, right? And what you're looking for is this little circle with a number next to it. And in this case, you can see it is right here, right? It is a 52 for this kit lens, 52mm thread. So all you need to do is you find the thread, the millimeter, and you look at the diameter of the ND filter, and that should fit exactly on your camera. And for this kit lens, that's what I did. The Nikon Z50 shoots at, it is a 46 thread. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you exactly what it does. So all you need to do is just put this on, and there's a little turning, and it should slowly twist onto your camera, right? Now I have this ND filter on, and as you can see, it just got really dark. And the difference between this is that it is a VR, varying ND filter. So 2 stops of light. Right here, you're looking at 2 stops of light. 3 stops of light. And this is 5 stops of light. And this is with my ISO settings at 250 and 3.5. So what that means is that if I were to be outside and be shooting at 100 ISO and 1/60 of a shutter speed, 3.5, everything is going to be blown out. So right now, this is what it would be like if I were to not film with anything, just my kit lens. Settings are 1/60, 3.5, 100 ISO, and as you can see, everything is really blown out. So in order for me to actually have viewable video, what I need to do is, because I lowered my ISO all the way down to 100, what I gotta do is I gotta crank up my aperture. Because I'm shooting in 4K of 1/60, so I have to crank up my aperture. So now I'm shooting at f/22 or f/20, which means that everything will be in focus, and it is not really cinematic, but this is what it takes to get things into proper exposure. But this is what it would look like if I were to vlog myself. See, this is me at f/22, so it's not really cinematic or any sort of depth of field. Crank this up to 3.5, this would be super overblown. But I have a solution. This is what we like to call an ND filter. As you can see, what a difference that would make. All I need to do is I screw this on. And first thing I notice right away, it does make the footage a little bit more warm, but now if I just simply turn the ring, I'm still shooting at 3.5, 100 ISO. This is 2 stops of light, all the way to maximum 5 stops of light, which is a little underexposed. But this looks like it is properly exposed. Now, I am vlogging with this at f/3.5, pretty much wide open, on a really sunny day. And as you guys can see, the difference that actually makes. And what you want an ND filter, a good quality ND filter, is that there is no X crossing, meaning if you turn the little dial to have a different stops of light, there isn't a horrible X pattern, and there isn't a hard stop on it, which is why I picked this one. This was also affordable within the budget price range, and if you want to check this out, link is in the description below. And no, they did not sponsor. This is something that I bought out of my own pocket to show you guys that you can make a kit lens even more cinematic. And that, guys, is the overall magic of why, if you had to pick your kit, your accessories, you got a better lens, 2-3 extra batteries, and adding an ND filter for your arsenal, that is, you are ready to shoot videos, photos with a smooth, buttery background. Doesn't matter where you are, too much sun, you have your ND filter, you got your shades, and now you're ready to shoot. So if you want to check that out, link in the description, check that out, get that ND filter. Just when you do purchase your ND filters, making sure that you have the right millimeter thread, check out your lens. Every lens, will have your diameter for your thread, so you know exactly what ND filter to get. And making sure that there is a big difference between a low quality ND filter, which will change the color. As you can see, there is a little bit of a color shift. If you look through that, it is a little on the warmer tone, but that is to be expected of a sub $100 ND filter. But you can fix that easily in post-production by just the white balance. So be wary of that, but this is one of my ND filters that I recommend. I've used this brand for Sony as well. And the only thing is, if you're shooting on different lenses, you're going to be needing different sorts of ND filters based on the diameter. So if you watched this far, my name is Peter. You're watching Broke Visionary Collective, and I help you become a better content creator. And you're watching BVC CO. We all serve nothing, but you can always create something. Cheers, guys.